Today is September 26th, 2022, and this video is going to focus on 4 native species that we are seeing at Inlet Pond after cutting down Phragmites. 4 species are the Saltmarsh Fleabane, the Marsh rose mallow, the creeping saltbush, and the eastern Baccharis. All of them are salt tolerant, which is not surprising because Inlet Pond is a brackish pond. Now on the right, you'll see where I cut, right in the center now, you'll see where I cut some of the Phragmites down to about 2 feet of height. Let's zoom in a little bit. You see it's all growing within the Phragmites. They were totally covered by Phragmites before. So we're even selling the Saltmarsh Fleabane at our native plant sale. People actually buy it to put it in their gardens. The Pluchea Odorata. These were completely surrounded by Phragmites. You couldn't even see them. That's why they're a little weak looking. They're kind of spindly because they didn't get much sun until a couple of weeks ago. It's amazing they even survived through this dense wall of Phragmites. Saltmarsh Fleabane. We had the Hibiscus Moscheutos too at the plant sale, but that got sold out. This is the description. So today, Oscar and I are just cutting down more Phragmites. We're not seeing any Saltmarsh Fleabane or Marsh Mallow in this area. We were seeing it over to the east, but we're not seeing it here. So here we're just cutting. We're just cutting, and hopefully we'll see if anything comes up. So I was doing some research last night about the life cycle of the Phragmites, and there's three stages to their life cycle. November, December, January, February, they're dormant. That's when they turn brown. They're dormant. April, May, June, July is their growing phase, where they are using a lot of the energy they had stored in their rhizomes the fall before, and they're growing obviously using photosynthesis as well, in addition to the energy they stored in their rhizomes. So in the fall, basically late August, September, October, up to about October 31st, they are in what's called, I believe it's called the transcription phase. I may have that wrong. Trans something, where they are taking the energy from the green leaves and moving it downward and storing it into the rhizomes for the winter. And so the information online from the Great Lakes initiatives and Chesapeake Bay and Toronto and Ontario, a lot of initiatives going on. In other parts of the country, they're saying this is the time to use herbicides, because this is the time that the plants absorb. They will absorb herbicides and then transcribe the herbicides or transpose the herbicides down into the rhizomes. So this is the time when you can actually, the herbicides can get down into the rhizome. So we're not allowed to use herbicides here in the Suffolk County Park. So I'm thinking that by cutting down these Phragmites at this point in time, September 11th, 2022, it will prevent the energy from being transposed from the green leaves down into the rhizomes where it's stored for the winter. So hopefully next spring the rhizomes won't have as much energy and hopefully they will be weakened. That's what we're hoping. Anyway, also just wanted to get a look at what it looks like without Phragmites. I'm starting to see another kind of plant here, a very low growing flower, creeping. It's not the most exciting of plants, but it's better than Phragmites. It's native. This is the native habitat range. So that's what it looks like now. Used to be a solid wall of Phragmites. Now you can go all the way to the Groundsel bush and to the actual woods. The Groundsel bush is just about everywhere on the edge. Sometimes called the Groundsel tree, or sea myrtle, or eastern Baccharis. It's all along the edges. And it's a member of the aster family. It's growing all along the shore. Some of them have more white flowers, or maybe they're just at different stages of their development. Some are white, and some are more yellow, like maybe these have bloomed already, the yellow ones. So this is a new tool that I bought. It's called a raspberry cane cutter. Comes on a long telescoping handle. And I read about it in the LISMA newsletter. LISMA stands for Long Island Invasive Species Management Association. And they have videos and Zooms and a newsletter. So in one of their newsletters they talked about a couple of Great Pond, I think it was. They were cutting Phragmites underwater, about 6 inches underwater, to drown the individual Phragmite reeds. And they were using these raspberry cane cutters. So I got one, and I want to see how it works on cutting these Phragmites that are poking up above the Groundsel bush. I'm just going to do a couple just to test it out. So let's check it out. So you just reach in and let's see. Well, cut it off. So here on the west side of the pond closest to the beach, we haven't really touched any of these Phragmites. So you see some here on the sandy beach, and then the whole west side, there's just a fringe of Phragmites. Now these, because they're in the water, you probably have to wear waders, and we might use that tool that I just showed you to grab them, cut them. Supposed to cut them 6 inches underwater, and the best time to cut them is in the spring, because that's when they're using a lot of oxygen, and that's when you drown them. So we'll try that next spring. Now we've done pretty much the south, and then the whole east side, pretty much Phragmite free. Up to the north side, we've cut everything at least once. Those we cut in July. Those are the first ones we cut right there. And you see how they're growing back, but they're growing back very weakly. If I cut them once more, I think they'll be even weaker next spring. But they're very weak. Good. Here I'm just cutting individual stalks. It's a handy tool. You don't have to bend so low.